The hospital doors slid open with a hiss, and every head in the crowded lobby turned. Paws clicked on the cold tile floor, uneven and slow. A German shepherd, fur matted and streaked with dirt, staggered inside. On his back, a little girl, no, older than 7, clung weakly, her arms draped around his neck. Blood stained her torn dress, dripping onto the dog's side. Gasps rippled through the room. Nurses froze, their hands hovering over clipboards. Was this dog a danger, or something else entirely? The shepherd's eyes locked on the nearest nurse, a young woman named Sarah, who stood wide-eyed behind the counter. His gaze wasn't wild or threatening, it was desperate pleading. He limped forward, each step a struggle, until he reached the center of the lobby. The girl's head lolled against his fur, her breathing shallow. Sarah's heart pounded. She'd seen a lot in this hospital, but nothing like this. Somebody get a stretcher. Sarah shouted, snapping out of her shock. Her voice cut through the murmurs, and 2 orderlies rushed forward. The dog didn't move as they gently lifted the girl off his back. His ears twitched, but he stayed still, watching every move they made. Sarah knelt beside him, her hand hovering near his head, unsure if he'd snap. "You're okay, boy," she whispered. "You brought her here. You did good." The dog's eyes flickered to her, then back to the girl, who was now being wheeled toward the emergency room. He took a shaky step to follow, but his front leg buckled. Sarah caught his collar just in time, her fingers brushing against a tag. "That read, Max. Easy, Max," she said softly. "They're helping her now." Max whined, a low, heartbreaking sound that made Sarah's chest tighten. He pulled against her grip, his eyes fixed on the swinging doors where the girl had disappeared. "I know you want to go with her," Sarah said, her voice cracking. "But you're hurt too. Let us help you both." A doctor rushed into the lobby, his white coat flapping. "What's going on here?" he demanded, glancing from Sarah to Max. "Is that dog dangerous?" "No," Sarah said quickly. "He carried her in. She's hurt bad, but he's protecting her." The doctor frowned, eyeing Max's blood-streaked fur. "Get him out of here. Can't have animals in the hospital." Sarah's jaw tightened. "He's not leaving her. Look at him. He's half dead himself, but he won't budge." Max let out another whine, his body trembling as he strained toward the emergency room. The doctor sighed, running a hand through his hair. "Fine, but keep him under control. And find out who that girl is." Sarah nodded, her hand still on Max's collar. She glanced down at him, noticing how his fur was crusted with dried blood. Not all of it his. Her stomach twisted. What had happened to them? She led Max to a corner of the lobby, away from the staring crowd. He sank to the floor, his eyes never leaving the doors. "Hey, Sarah," a nurse named Jenna called, hurrying over. "I heard paramedics talking outside. They said a hiker found that girl in the woods alone with the dog standing over her. No one knows how she got there." Sarah's eyes widened. "The woods? That's miles from here. How did he?" She looked at Max, who let out a soft huff like he was listening. "You carried her all that way, didn't you?" she murmured. Jenna knelt beside them, her voice low. "They said she was bleeding when they found her, like something or someone hurt her. The dog wouldn't let anyone near her at first, kept growling until they backed off." Sarah's heart sank. She glanced at Max, whose ears flicked at the sound of their voices. His eyes were heavy with exhaustion, but they burned with something fierce, something unbreakable. "What happened to you two?" she whispered. Max lifted his head, his nose nudging her hand. It was like he was saying, "Help her. Please." Sarah swallowed hard, her throat tight. "I'm gonna find out, Max," she promised. "And I'm not letting anyone hurt her again." The lobby buzzed around them, phones ringing, patients shuffling, doctors barking orders. But in that corner, it was just Sarah and Max, bound by a silent promise. She didn't know who the girl was or what had brought them here, but one thing was clear. Max wasn't just a dog. He was a hero, and he'd risked everything to save that little girl. As the emergency room doors stayed shut, Sarah leaned closer to Max. "You rest now, okay? We're gonna take care of her and you." Max's tail gave a weak thump against the floor, but his eyes stayed glued to those doors, waiting for the girl he'd carried through the darkness. Max's heavy breathing filled the quiet corner of the hospital lobby. His eyes stayed locked on the emergency room doors where the little girl, Lily, had been taken. Sarah knelt beside him, her hand resting on his matted fur. She could feel his heart racing under her palm. The crowd had thinned out, but whispers still floated around, people wondering about the bloodied girl and the dog who'd carried her in. Sarah's mind raced too. How had Max done it? And why was Lily hurt so bad? The nurse pushed through doors, her face grim. Sarah stood up, her stomach twisting. Is she okay? She asked, her voice barely above a whisper. She's stable, the nurse said, glancing at Max. But she's lost a lot of blood. We're doing everything we can. Do you know her? Sarah shook her head. No, he brought her in. She nodded toward Max, who whimpered softly, like he understood every word. The nurse's eyes softened. That dog's a miracle. She wouldn't have made it without him. Sarah looked down at Max, his fur crusted with dirt and blood. He hadn't moved, hadn't even blinked, since they took Lily away. You hear that, Max? She said. You saved her. You're her hero. Max's ears twitched, but his gaze didn't waver. She wanted to clean his wounds, get him water, but he wouldn't budge. She sat beside him, her hand on his back. We're going to wait for her together, okay? Minutes dragged into hours. The hospital hummed around them, beeping machines. Hurried footsteps. Sarah's friend Jenna came back holding a coffee. Any news? Jenna asked, sitting down. Not yet, Sarah said. She's fighting, though. It's just like him. She glanced at Max, who let out another low whine. Jenna leaned closer, her voice low. I overheard the paramedics again. They said the hiker who found them was shaken up. Said it looked like something bad happened in those woods. Like someone attacked her. Sarah's breath caught. Attacked by who? Jenna shrugged, her eyes darting to Max. They don't know, but that dog was ready to fight anyone who got close. Growled at the hiker until he backed off. Sarah looked at Max, his eyes still fixed on the doors. She noticed a fresh cut above his eye, blood dried in his fur. You fought for her, didn't you? She murmured. Max's tail gave a weak thump like he was answering. A doctor stepped into the lobby, wiping his hands on his coat. Up. How is she? She asked. She's still unconscious, he said. We're running tests. She's got bruises, cuts, like she was in a struggle. We need to know who she is. Does the dog have a tag? Sarah nodded, lifting Max's collar. His name's Max. That's all it says. The doctor frowned. Call animal control, too. No. Sarah cut him off, her voice sharp. Max's head snapped up, a low growl rumbling in his chest. He stays with her. He's all she's got right now. The doctor sighed. All right, but keep him calm. Sarah knelt beside Max, stroking his head. Don't worry, boy. No one's taking you away. Max leaned into her touch, but his eyes never left the doors. Jenna stood up, her voice soft. Sarah, what if whoever hurt her is still out there? What if they come looking? Sarah's blood ran cold. She glanced at Max, whose ears were pricked, like he sensed something too. Then we protect them, she said firmly. Both of them. Max let out a soft huff, his body tense. His mind swirled with questions. Who was Lily? What had happened in those woods? And what had Max seen? One thing was sure. He wasn't just a dog. He was Lily's guardian, and he'd do anything to keep her safe. As the hospital lights buzzed overhead, Sarah settled beside Max, ready to wait as long as it took. Sarah's hand stayed on Max's fur as the hospital clock ticked past midnight. His eyes were still glued to the emergency room doors, waiting for news about Lily. The lobby was quieter now, but the air felt heavy with questions. Sarah's mind kept replaying Jenna's words. Someone attacked her. She looked at Max, his wounds telling a story he couldn't speak. What had he fought? To protect Lily? Jenna slipped back into the lobby, her face pale. Sarah, I heard something, she whispered, glancing around. A paramedic was talking to a cop outside. They think Lily wasn't alone in those woods. There were footprints, big ones, like a man's. Sarah's heart skipped. A man? Did they find him? Jenna shook her head. No, but they said. The scene looked bad, like a fight happened. And Max. She trailed off, looking at the dog. He was covered in blood when they found her. Not all of it was hers. Sarah's eyes widened, knelt beside Max, gently lifting his chin. His face was scarred, one ear torn. What did you do, boy? She whispered. Max whined his eyes, flicking to hers, then back to the doors. A cop walked into the lobby, his boots heavy on the tile. Sarah recognized him, Officer Daniels, a regular at the hospital. He tipped his hat. Sarah, you know anything about that girl and the dog? Not much, Sarah said. He brought her in. His name's Max. She's Lily, we think. She's still out. Daniels nodded, his eyes on Max. That dog's something else. Paramedic said he wouldn't let anyone near her at first. Stood over her like a guard. Sarah's chest tightened. Jenna said there were footprints. Do you think someone's after her? Sarah's eyes stayed on the hallway where the strange nurse had disappeared. Max's growl had sent a chill down her spine, but he was quiet now, his head resting on his paws in the hospital lobby. His eyes were still locked on the emergency. Room doors where Lily was fighting to wake up. The water bowl beside him sat untouched, and the bandages on his shoulder were already stained red. Sarah's heart twisted. He was fading, but his loyalty to Lily kept him anchored. You're so stubborn, Max, Sarah said softly, pushing the chicken closer. You gotta eat something for her. Max sniffed the food but turned away, his ears twitching at a distant sound. Sarah sighed, stroking his fur. You're carrying the world, aren't you? The lobby was quieter now, the afternoon light dim and gray. Sarah's mind churned with Officer Daniels' words. This town's got secrets. Ikla stated secret scars, wondering what he'd seen in those woods. A flashback hit, her like Max's, seeing through his eyes again. A dark riverbank, Lily's. Small body, curled up, shivering. Max dragging her from the water, his teeth gentle on her jacket. A man's shadow fleeing into the trees. Sarah blinked, her heart pounding. You pulled her from a river? She whispered. Jenna came back, her shift over. Any news on Lily? She asked, sitting beside them. No, Sarah said. She's still out. But Max, he's not just a dog. He's something more. Jenna nodded, her eyes on Max. Everyone's talking about him. They're saying he's a hero. Some nurses even want to sneak him a treat. Sarah smiled faintly. He won't take it. Won't eat, won't drink. She leaned closer to Max. You're killing me, boy. Max let out a soft whine, his tail thumping once. Sarah grabbed a clean cloth and dabbed at his cuts again. He flinched, but stayed still. Good boy, she murmured. Another flashback hit Lily's laughter, her small hands petting Max's fur. Max lying beside her in a cozy cottage, tail wagging, then a loud crash, a man's voice yelling. Max leaping to his feet, growling. Sarah snapped back, her hand shaking. What happened to you two? She asked, her voice breaking. Jenna frowned. You okay, Sarah? Yeah, Sarah said. I keep imagining things like I'm seeing what Max saw. She looked at Max, his eyes fierce. You're trying to tell me, aren't you? The lobby door slid open, and a janitor pushed a mop bucket by. Max's ears flicked up, but he didn't growl. Sarah relaxed, her hand on his collar. Not everyone's bad, boy, she said. We're going to figure this out. Jenna stood up. I'm heading home. You want me to bring you something tomorrow? Food for Max? Please, Sarah said. Maybe he'll eat if it's for Lily. Jenna nodded, squeezing her shoulder before leaving. Sarah leaned against Max, her voice soft. You saved her from that river, didn't you? You fought for her? Max's eyes flicked to hers, his body tense. She noticed his breathing was ragged. You're hurting, boy. Let me help you. She cleaned his wounds as gently as she could. Max's whines tugging at her heart. You're so brave, she said. Lily's lucky to have you. Max licked her hand once, then turned back to the doors. A nurse poked her head out. Sarah, Lily's heart rate spiked. She might be waking soon. Sarah's heart leaped. Hear that, Max? She's coming back. Max's ears perked, and he let out a low whine, his tail thumping weakly. The hospital felt heavier now, like danger was closing in. Sarah's eyes darted to the hallway where the nurse had gone. Max knew something, and she'd protect him until Lily could tell them. What? As the afternoon faded, Sarah stayed by Max's side. His loyalty a light in the dark. Max's tail thumped weakly as Sarah whispered about Lily's heart rate spiking. His eyes stayed glued to the emergency room doors, where Lily might finally wake. The hospital lobby was dim, the evening light casting shadows on the tile. Sarah's hand rested on Max's bandaged shoulder, her heart racing with hope. But his ragged breathing worried her. He hadn't eaten, barely drank, and his wounds were worse than she'd thought. Still, he wouldn't leave Lily's side. "You're gonna see her soon, Max," Sarah said softly, stroking his fur. "Just hold on." Max let out a soft huff, his ears twitching at her voice. Sarah's fingers brushed his collar, and something caught a rough edge, like fabric. She leaned closer, squinting. Tucked under the leather was a torn piece of cloth, stained dark with blood. Her breath caught. "What's this, boy?" she murmured, gently pulling it free. The cloth was coarse, not Max's or Lily's, and the blood. It wasn't theirs. Her heart pounded. She glanced around the lobby, but it was quiet, just a few. Nurses at the desk. She tucked the cloth into her pocket, her mind racing. "You fought someone, didn't you?" She whispered to Max. He whined, his eyes flicking to hers, like he was saying yes. Jenna wasn't back yet, but Officer Daniels walked in, his face grim. Sarah waved him over, her voice low. "Daniels, look at this." She held out the cloth, keeping it hidden from others. "I found it in Max's collar. It's not his blood." Daniel's eyes widened. He took the cloth, turning it over. Could be a clue. I'll get it to the lab. He glanced at Max, who crouched low, a soft growl rumbling. "You're full of surprises, aren't you, boy?" Sarah nodded, her throat tight. He's trying to tell us something. Whoever hurt Lily, Max was there. Daniels crouched beside Max, his voice gentle. "You're a fighter, huh? Good boy." Max's growl softened, but his eyes stayed alert. Daniels stood, pocketing the cloth. "I checked the village. Folks are tight-lipped, but they know Lily. Said she's an orphan, lives with her grandma. Nobody saw her much lately." Sarah frowned. "An orphan? Then who was in the woods with her?" Daniel shrugged. "That's the question. I'm digging deeper." He glanced at Max. "Keep him safe, Sarah. He's our best lead." Sarah nodded, her hand on Max's collar. "I will." Daniels left, his radio crackling as he stepped outside. Sarah leaned against Max, her whispering, "You're so brave." Max's tail thumped, but his body tensed. She noticed a nurse nearby, a man this time, watching them from the desk. Max's ears flicked up, a low growl. Sarah's pulse quickened. "What's wrong, boy?" she said, her voice low. The nurse looked away, busying himself with papers. Sarah's stomach twisted. "You don't like him either, huh?" she murmured to Max. He huffed, his eyes back on the doors. Sarah cleaned Max's wounds again, her hand shaking. "This cloth means something, doesn't it?" she said. Max whined his nose, nudging her hand. A flashback hit Max, lunging at a man in the woods, teeth bared, tearing at his sleeve. Lily screaming in the distance. Sarah gasped, snapping back. "Sarah?" A nurse called from the desk. Lily's stirring again. "Be close." Sarah's heart leaped. "Hear that, Max?" "She's fighting." Max's ears perked and he tried to stand, but his legs wobbled. Sarah caught him. "Easy, boy. Save your strength." The lobby felt colder now, like eyes were watching. Sarah's hand stayed on Max's collar, the weight of the cloth heavy in her pocket. Whoever hurt Lily was out there, and Max knew it. She leaned close, her voice fierce. "We'll find them, Max. I promise." As the evening deepened, she stayed by his side, ready to protect him and Lily. Sarah's hand gripped Max's collar as the nurse's words echoed, Lily stirring. Max's ears stood tall, his eyes burning with hope on the emergency room doors. The hospital lobby was dark now, the night shift humming quietly, Sarah's pocket felt heavy with the blood-stained cloth from Max's cholera. Clue to whoever hurt Lily. Max's low whine pulled her close. He was weaker, his wounds seeping through bandages, but he wouldn't rest. His loyalty to Lily was unbreakable. "You're gonna see her soon," Sarah whispered, stroking his fur. "Just hold on, Max." Max huffed, his tail thumping weakly. Her phone buzzed. "Daniels is." She answered, her voice low. "Daniels, what's up?" "I'm in the woods," Daniels said, his voice crackly. "Found something. Campsite. Hidden. Torn clothes. A knife with blood. Looks like someone was living out here." Sarah's heart raced. "Is it the guy who hurt Lily?" "Maybe," Daniels said. "Tracks lead toward the village. I'm following them. Stay sharp, Sarah." Sarah nodded, though he couldn't see. "I will." She hung up, her eyes on Max. "You knew, didn't you? Someone was out there." Max whined, his nose twitching like he smelled danger. She cleaned his wounds, her hands steady despite the fear. "You fought him?" she murmured. A flashback hit Max, charging through the woods, teeth snapping at a man's leg, Lily's cries fading as the man fled. Sarah blinked, her heart pounding. "You saved her," she whispered. Jenna slipped in, her face pale. "Sarah, any news?" "Daniels found a campsite," Sarah said, keeping her voice low. "Someone's hiding out there." Jenna's eyes widened. "And Max, he fought them." Sarah nodded, stroking Max's head. "He's our hero." Max's ears twitched, but his eyes stayed on the doors. A man in a coat entered the lobby, his boots loud. Max's head snapped up, a low growl rumbling. Sarah's pulse spiked. "Easy, Max," she whispered, her hand on his collar. The man glanced their way, then hurried to the elevator. "Who's that?" Jenna asked, her voice tense. "I don't know," Sarah said. "But Max doesn't trust him." She leaned closer to Max. "What do you know, boy?" Max barked once, sharp and loud. The nurses at the desk jumped, staring. "Shh." Sarah's heart pounded. Max, she said, but his eyes were fierce, like he was warning her. Jenna frowned. "He's scared, Sarah, or angry?" Sarah nodded, her mind racing. The cloth, the campsite, Max's growls, it all pointed to danger. She glanced at the emergency room doors. "Lily, please wake up," she whispered. A nurse rushed out, her face lit up. "Sarah, Lily's awake. She's asking for Max." Sarah gasped, her hand flying to Max's. "Hear that, boy?" "She's back." Max struggled to stand, his legs shaking. Sarah helped him up. "Come on, Max. She needs you." The lobby felt alive now, hope cutting through the fear. Sarah led Max toward the doors, his limping steps determined. The man in the coat was gone, but Max's growls lingered in her mind. Someone was out there, and Max knew it. As they neared the emergency room, Sarah's heart swelled. Lily was awake, and Max was ready to protect her again. Max's paws dragged on the tile as Sarah led him through the emergency room doors. His ears were high, his eyes bright with hope. Lily was awake. The hospital's sterile halls smelled of antiseptic, but Max's nose twitched, searching for her scent. Sarah's heart pounded, the blood-stained cloth still heavy in her pocket. Max's growls at strangers and Daniel's news about the campsite made her uneasy, but Lily's voice was all that mattered now. Max limped beside her, his wounds slowing. But his loyalty to Lily pushed him forward. "You're almost there, Max," Sarah whispered, her hand on his collar. "She's waiting for you," Max whined, his tail thumping weakly. They reached Lily's room, the curtain half drawn. A nurse stood by the bed, checking monitors. Lily lay there, her face pale, her small body swallowed by the hospital gown. Her eyes fluttered open, searching the room. "Max," she whispered, her voice barely audible. Max's ears shot up. He pulled against Sarah's grip, a soft bark escaping him. Sarah's heart swelled. "Go to her, boy," she said, letting go. Max limped to the bed, his nose nudging Lily's hand. She smiled weakly, her fingers curling into his fur. "Max," Lily murmured. "You're here." Sarah's eyes stung. She stepped closer, her voice soft. He never left you, Lily. He brought you here. Lily's eyes met hers, hazy with pain. Who are you? I'm Sarah, she said, kneeling beside the bed. I'm a nurse. Max kept you safe until we could help. Lily's hand trembled. In Max's fur, he saved me. Her voice cracked and she closed her eyes, tears slipping down her cheeks. Sarah's throat tightened. What happened, Lily? Can you tell us? Lily's breath hitched. There was a man in the woods. He grabbed me. Her voice broke, and Max whined, pressing closer. Max fought him. You wouldn't let him hurt me. Sarah's heart raced. She glanced at the nurse, who nodded, stepping out to call Daniels. Sarah leaned closer. You're safe now, Lily. Max won't let anyone hurt you. Lily's eyes opened, fear flashing in them. He's still out there, she whispered. Max growled softly, his eyes darting to the door. Sarah's stomach twisted. We'll protect you, she said firmly. Both of you. She stroked Max's head. Right, boy? Max huffed, his body tense. Sarah's mind flashed to the cloth. In her pocket, the campsite Daniels found. Lily's words confirmed that someone had attacked her and Max had fought them off. She looked at the door, half expecting a shadow to appear. A doctor entered, his face serious. Lily needs rest, he said. She's weak. It's no more questions for now. Sarah nodded, but Lily clutched Max's fur, tightened. Don't let him go, she whispered. He stays, Sarah said, her voice fierce. The doctor sighed but didn't argue. Sarah stepped back, letting Max stay by the bed. She whispered to him, You did it, Max. You kept her alive. Max's tail thumped, but his eyes stayed on Lily. Jenna slipped in, her eyes wide. Sarah, is she okay? She's awake, Sarah said, her voice low. She said a man attacked her. Max saved her. Jenna's hand flew to her mouth. And he's still out there? Sarah nodded, her jaw tight. Daniels is searching. But Max, he knows something. They glanced at Max, who growled softly, his ears twitching. Sarah's pocket felt heavier. God. She pulled Jenna aside. We need to watch everyone who comes. Near her, Jenna nodded, her face pale. I'll tell the other nurses. Sarah returned to Max, kneeling beside him. You're her guardian, aren't you? She whispered. Max licked her hand, his eyes fierce. Lily's breathing steadied, her hand still in his fur. The hospital felt like a fortress now, but danger was close. Sarah stayed by Max's side, ready to face whatever came next. Sarah knelt. Beside Max in Lily's hospital room, her hand on his fur. Lily slept, her small hand still tangled in Max's coat. His eyes were fixed on her, but his ears twitched at every sound outside the curtain. The blood-stained cloth in Sarah's pocket felt like a weight, and Lily's words, "A man attacked me," echoed in her mind. Max's low growls at strangers and Daniel's news about the campsite screamed danger. The hospital wasn't safe anymore. "You're keeping her safe, Max?" Sarah whispered, stroking his bandaged shoulder. "Oh, you're so strong," Max huffed, his tail thumping once. The curtain rustled and a man stepped in, his face half hidden. "Buy a baseball cap." "I'm here for Lily," he said, his voice gruff. "I'm her uncle." Max's head snapped up, a snarl ripping from his throat. Sarah's heart pounded. She stood, blocking the man's path. "Who are you?" she demanded. The man's eyes darted to Max. Then Lily, her uncle, like I said, heard she was hurt. Max lunged, teeth bared, but Sarah grabbed his collar. "Easy, Max," she said, her voice shaking. Max's snarls filled the room, his body trembling with rage. Lily stirred, her eyes fluttering open. "Ash!" She saw the man and gasped, clutching Max's fur. "That's not my uncle," she whispered, her voice trembling. Sarah's blood ran cold. She stepped closer to the man, her voice firm. "You need to leave now." The man's jaw tightened, but he backed up. "Fine. Must be a mix-up." He turned and slipped out, his boots loud on the tile. Sarah's knees wobbled. She knelt beside Max, who was still growling, his eyes on the curtain. "Good boy," she whispered. "You knew, didn't you?" Lily's voice was small. He looked like the man from the woods. Sarah's heart stopped. She stroked Lily's hand. You're safe, Lily. Max won't let him near you. Jenna rushed in, her face pale. Sarah, what happened? I heard barking. A guy came in, Sarah said, her voice low. Said he was her uncle. Lily said he's not. Max went crazy. Jenna's eyes widened. You think it's him? The guy who attacked her? Sarah nodded, her throat tight. I'm calling Daniels. She pulled out her phone, dialing fast. Daniels, a man was here. Claimed he was Lily's uncle. Max and Lily didn't trust him. Daniels' voice was sharp. Description. Baseball cap, dark jacket, Sarah said. He left, but I think it's him. I'm on my way, Daniels said. Lock the room. Stay with them. Asterisk. Sarah hung up, her hands shaking. She turned to Jenna. Get security to watch the halls. Jenna nodded, rushing out. Sarah locked the door, her heart racing. She knelt beside Max, who was still tense, his eyes on the curtain. You saved her again, boy, she whispered. Max whined, pressing closer to Lily. Lily's voice trembled. Max, he fought him before in the woods. He's why I'm here. Sarah's eyes stung. He's your hero, Lily, and we're going to keep you both safe. She stroked Max's head, noticing his breathing was weaker. You're hurting, aren't you? But you won't stop. Max's tail thumped, his eyes fierce. Hospitum felt like a trap now. The man's face burned into Sarah's mind. She pulled the cloth from her pocket, staring at it. We're close, Max, she whispered. We'll find him. The room was quiet, the monitors beeping softly. Sarah stayed by Max and Lily, her heart pounding. Danger was closer than ever, but Max's loyalty was stronger. As the night deepened, she held tight to his collar, ready to face the shadows. Sarah's hand trembled on Max's collar, the locked hospital room door keeping the world out. Max's growls had faded, but his eyes stayed sharp, watching the curtain, where the man claiming to be Lily's uncle had vanished. Lily's whispered words, "That's not my uncle," hung heavy in the air. Her small hand clung to Max's fur, her face pale against the hospital pillow. Sarah's heart pounded, the blood stained. Cloth in her pocket, a silent clue to the danger still lurking. Max's breathing was weak, his wounds seeping, but he pressed closer to Lily, guarding her. You're safe now, Lily, Sarah whispered, stroking her hand. Max won't let anyone hurt you. Max winced softly, his tail thumping once. Lily's eyes fluttered open, tears shining. He saved me, she murmured. In the woods, the man wanted to hurt me. Max fought him. Sarah's throat tightened. She leaned closer, her voice gentle. Can you tell me more, Lily? What happened? Lily's breath hitched, her fingers tightening in Max's fur. I was playing by the river. Max was with me. Then a man came. He grabbed me, said I shouldn't be there. Her voice broke. He had a knife. Max jumped on him, barking so loud. The man ran, but I fell. I don't remember much after. Sarah's heart shattered. She glanced at Max, his scars telling the story. You're so brave, boy, she whispered. Max huffed, his eyes on Lily. Sarah's heart shattered. She glanced at Max, his scars telling the story. You're so brave, boy, she whispered.
Hot.
Max huffed, his eyes on Lily. Jenna slipped back in, her face tense. Security's watching the halls. Daniels is coming. Sarah, is she okay? She's talking, Sarah said, her voice low. She said a man attacked her. Max fought him off. Jenna's eyes widened. That guy who was here? You think it's him? Sarah nodded, her stomach twisting. Lily said he's not her uncle. Max knew it too. She pulled out the cloth from Max's collar, showing Jenna, this is our proof. We need Daniels to find him. Lily's voice was small. Max carried me so far. I was so scared. She looked at Max, tears falling. Thank you, Max. Max licked her hand, his whine soft but fierce. Sarah's eyes stung. He loves you, Lily. He'd do anything for you. Knock on the door made Sarah jump. Max's ears shot up, a low growl rumbling. Who's there? Sarah called, her voice sharp. "It's Daniels," came the reply. Sarah unlocked the door, letting him in. His face was grim, his hat in his hands. "Lily, you okay, kid?" he asked, kneeling by the bed. Lily nodded weakly, her hand in Max's fur. "Max saved me," she whispered. Daniels looked at Max, his eyes soft. "You're one tough dog." Turned to Sarah, his voice low. "That cloth you gave me?" Collapse. Testing it could be a lead. But Lily's story, it's big. If that man's from the village, someone knows him. Sarah's heart raced. She said he had a knife. He wanted to hurt her. Daniels nodded, his jaw tight. "We're searching the village now, but you all need to stay safe. That guy might come back." Sarah glanced at Max, who was watching the door, his body tense. "Max will know if he does," she said. "Right, boy?" Max's tail thumped, but his growl lingered. Sarah leaned close to Lily. "We're going to protect you, both of you." Lily smiled weakly, her hand still in Max's fur. The room felt smaller now, the beeping monitors louder. Sarah's mind raced with Lily's story, Max's scars, and the man in the shadows. Max was their hero, but he was fading. She had to keep him strong for Lily. As the night stretched on, Farah stayed by their side, ready to face whatever came next. Sarah's hand stayed on Max's fur as Officer Daniels stood by Lily's hospital bed, his radio crackling softly. Max's eyes flicked between the door and Lily, who slept again, her small hand still tangled in his coat. The room was dim, the monitors glowing faintly. Sarah's pocket held the bloodstained cloth, a clue to the man who'd attacked Lily. Her heart pounded. Lily's story about the man with the knife and Max's fierce growls at the stranger meant danger was close. Max was weakening, but his loyalty to Lily kept him alert. "You're our guardian." "Max," Sarah whispered, stroking his head. "You're keeping her safe." Max whined, his tail thumping weakly. Daniel's phone buzzed. Stepped to the corner. Answering in a low voice, "Yeah, you found what?" His eyes widened, and he glanced at Sarah. "Keep searching. I'm coming." He hung up, his face grim. "Sarah, my team found more in the woods." A jacket torn with blood. Cloth from Max's collar. Sarah's breath caught. "It's him, isn't it?" "The man who was here." Daniels nodded. "Likely. We're tracking him to the village. Got a name, Tom Carver. Runs with a bad crowd. Might be tied to a crime ring." Sarah's stomach twisted. "A crime ring? Why would they want Lily?" Daniels shrugged, his voice low. "Could be money? Land? Her grandma owns a big plot near the river. Might be worth something." Sarah looked at Lily, so small in the bed. "She's just a kid," she whispered. Max growled softly like he agreed. Daniels knelt beside Max. "You fought him off, didn't you, boy? Good job." Max's ears twitched, but his eyes stayed on Lily. Sarah's heart raced. "What now, Daniels?" "We're raiding the village tonight," he said. "If Carver's there, we'll get him. But you keep this door locked. Max will warn you if anyone comes." Sarah nodded, her throat tight. "We will." Daniels tipped his hat and left, his boots echoing down the hall. Sarah locked the door, her hands shaking. She knelt beside Max, cleaning his wounds again. "You're so brave," she murmured. Max huffed, his eyes fierce. A flashback hit Max, dragging Lily through the woods, her body limp, his own blood dripping. Sarah blinked, tears stinging. "You carried her so far," she whispered. Jenna slipped in, her face pale. Sarah security saw that guy again, the one in the cap. He's outside watching the hospital. Sarah's heart stopped. "Did they catch him?" Jenna shook her head. "He ran off. They're patrolling now." Sarah looked at Max, who growled softly, his ears up. "You knew he was close, didn't you?" Max's tail thumped, his body tense. Lily stirred, her voice weak. "Max, is he okay?" Sarah smiled, stroking her hand. "He's right here, Lily. He's not leaving you." Lily's eyes fluttered. "He's my best friend," she whispered, tears falling. Max licked her hand, his whine soft. Sarah's chest ached. "He loves you, Lily. We all do." She leaned close to Max. "We're going to catch that man, boy. I promise." The room felt like a fortress, but danger was circling. Sarah's eyes darted to the door, her hand on Max's collar. The hospital was quiet, but Max's growls said it all. Carver was out there, and he wasn't done. Sarah stayed by Max and Lily, her heart pounding, ready to protect them as the hunt began. Sarah's hand tightened on Max's collar. The hospital room door locked tight. Lily slept, her breathing steady, her hand still in Max's fur. His eyes were fixed on the door, ears twitching at every sound. The news from Jenna that the man, Tom Carver, was watching the hospital made Sarah's skin crawl. Daniels was hunting him in the village. The blood-stained cloth in Sarah's pocket and Max's growls screamed that danger was too close. The hospital wasn't safe anymore. It had to move. "We can't stay here, Max," Sarah whispered, her voice shaking. "He's coming for her." Max whined, his tail thumping once like he understood. Sarah's mind raced. Daniels had said to stay put, but Carver had been outside. She couldn't risk it. She looked at Lily, so fragile in the bed. "We're getting you out," she murmured. Jenna slipped in, her eyes wide. Sarah, security stretched thin. "They can't watch every entrance." Sarah nodded, her jaw tight. "We're leaving now. There's a safe house near my place. Daniels told me about it. We'll take Lily there." Jenna's mouth dropped. "You sure?" "She's so weak, I know," Sarah said. "But Max will protect her. Right, boy?" Max huffed, his eyes fierce. Sarah grabbed a wheelchair from the corner, gently lifting Lily into it. Lily stirred, her voice soft. "Max, where are we going?" "Somewhere safe," Sarah whispered, tucking a blanket around her. "Max is coming too." Lily smiled weakly, her hand reaching for Max. "Good boy," she murmured. Max licked, her fingers staying close. Jenna glanced at the door. "How do we get out? Security's watching, but so is he." "There's a back exit," Sarah said. "Staff only. We'll go at shift, change less eyes." She knelt beside Max. "Stay quiet, Max." "Okay." Max's ears twitched, his body tense. Sarah grabbed her bag, slipping the cloth inside. Wheeled Lily out, Max limping beside them. The hall was quiet, the night shift just starting. Sarah's heart pounded as they neared the back exit. She glanced at Max, who was sniffing the air, his eyes sharp. "Almost there," Jenna whispered. Holding the door open, a shadow moved outside, a man in a cap, lingering near a parked car. Max growled, low and fierce. Sarah froze, her hand on his collar. "Easy, Max," she hissed. "We can't let him see us." Jenna's voice shook. "Is that him?" Sarah nodded, her pulse racing. "Keep moving." They slipped through the door, Max's growls muffled. The cool night air hit them, and Sarah wheeled Lily faster, Max staying close. "Where are we going?" Lily whispered, her voice scared. "Somewhere he can't find you," Sarah said, her eyes scanning the dark. They reached her car, and Jenna helped lift Lily inside. Max jumped in, curling up beside her. Jenna shut the door. "I'll cover for you. Call Daniels when you're safe." Sarah nodded, her throat tight. "Thank you, Jenna." She climbed in, starting the car. Max's eyes stayed on the window. A low growl rumbling as they pulled away. The safe house was a small cabin, hidden in the hills. Sarah's hand shook on the wheel, but Max's presence calmed her. "You're our hero, boy," she said, glancing back. Lily's hand rested on Max's fur, her eyes heavy. "Max, you'll stay with me, right?" Lily murmured, "Max wind," nuzzling her. Sarah's heart swelled. "He's not going anywhere, Lily." The road stretched dark ahead, but Sarah felt Carver's shadow behind them. Max's growls said he felt it too. As they neared the safe house, Sarah prayed they'd outrun the danger. Sarah's car rumbled down the dark road, the safe house just a mile away. Max lay curled beside Lily in the back seat, his head on her lap. Lily's hand rested weakly. In his fur, her breathing shallow but steady. The hospital was behind them. But the memory of Tom Carver's shadow outside haunted Sarah. Max's low growls during their escape told her he sensed it too.
Oh.
The blood-stained cloth in her bag was their only clue, but it was enough to know Carver was hunting them. Max's loyalty was their shield. You're doing great, Max, Sarah whispered, glancing in the rearview mirror. Keeping her safe. Shh, Max huffed, his eyes glinting in the dark. Lily stirred, her voice soft. Max, you carried me so far, she murmured. I was so scared. Sarah's heart ached. She reached back, squeezing Lily's hand. He's your hero, Lily. He's not leaving you. Lily smiled weakly. Love you, Max, she whispered. Max licked her hand, his whine soft but fierce. The safe house appeared, a small cabin tucked among trees. Sarah parked, her hand shaking as she helped Lily into the wheelchair. Max limped beside them, his ears up, sniffing the air. The night was quiet, but Sarah felt watched. Stay close, Max, she said, her voice low. Inside, the cabin was sparse. Couch, a bed, a small kitchen. Sarah settled Lily on the couch, Max curling up beside her. We're safe here, Sarah said, locking the door. But her gut twisted. Carver was out there. Lily's eyes fluttered. Max fought him. In the woods, she whispered. He wouldn't let him take me. Sarah knelt beside them, stroking Max's fur. A flashback hit Max lunging at Carver, teeth sinking into his arm. Lily's screams echoing as Max dragged her to safety. Sarah blinked, tears stinging. You're so brave, boy, she said. Max's breathing was ragged, his wounds worse. Sarah grabbed a first aid kit from her bag, cleaning his cuts. He flinched, but stayed still. You're hurting, she murmured. But you won't stop, will you? Lily's hand tightened in Max's fur. Don't leave me, Max, she whispered. Max whined, nuzzling her. Sarah's chest tightened. He's not going anywhere, Lily. She bandaged Max's shoulder, noticing how weak he was. We need to get you to a vet soon, she said softly. Her phone buzzed. Daniels. Sarah, you at the safe house? He asked, his voice tense. Yeah, Sarah said. We made it. Any sign of Carver? He's in the village, Daniels said. We're closing in. Stay hidden. Call if you see anything. Sarah nodded, her heart racing. I will. She hung up, glancing at Max. His ears were up, his eyes on the window. You feel it too, don't you? She whispered. A rustle outside made Sarah freeze. Max growled, low and fierce, his body tensing. Lily's eyes widened. Is he here? She whispered. Sarah grabbed a flashlight, her hand shaking. Stay here, Lily, Max, with me. She crept to the window, Max limping beside her. The trees were still, but Max's growl said danger was close. Sarah's heart pounded. We're not letting him near you, she said, her voice fierce. Max's tail thumped, his eyes burning. The cabin felt like a fortress, but Carver was coming. Sarah stayed by Max and Lily, ready to fight for their bond, unbroken and strong. Sarah's heart pounded as she peered out the safe house window. Max's growls echoing in the dark cabin. His ears were up, his eyes fixed on the trees outside. Lily huddled on the couch, her hand tight in Max's fur, her face pale with fear. The rustle outside had stopped, but Sarah's gut screamed that Tom Carver was close. The blood-stained cloth in her bag and Lily's story about the attack pointed to him. Max's loyalty was their only shield, but his wounds were slowing him, his breathing weak. Stay calm, Lily, Sarah whispered, gripping the flashlight. Max is here. Max huffed, his tail thumping once, but his growls didn't stop. Lily's voice trembled. He's coming, isn't he? Sarah knelt beside her, forcing a smile. We're safe. Daniels is hunting him. She stroked Max's head. Right, boy. You'll protect us. Max licked her hand, his eyes fierce. Sarah's. Phone buzzed. Daniels again, she answered, keeping her voice low. What's happening? We found something, Daniels said, his voice grim. Photo in Carver's hideout. It's him with Lily's grandma. Looks like they knew each other. Might be about her land worth a fortune. Sarah's stomach dropped. He attacked. Lily for land, looks like it, Daniels said. We're close to him. Stay put. Sarah hung up, her mind racing. She looked at Lily. Your grandma's land? That's why he came after you, isn't it? Lily nodded, tears falling. She told me never to talk to him, said he was bad. She clung to Max. You stopped him, Max. Max whined, pressing closer. Sarah's heart ached. She cleaned his wounds again, her hands shaking. You're fading, boy, she whispered. But you're still fighting. A flashback hit Max, standing over Lily in the woods, blood dripping from his fur, Carver's knife flashing, his angry shouts. Max's teeth sinking into his arm, driving him back. Sarah blinked, tears stinging. You're her hero, she said. Her phone buzzed with a text from Jenna. Security saw Carver near the hospital. Be careful. Sarah's heart stopped. It was closer than Daniels thought. She glanced at Max, who was growling louder, his eyes on the door. Lily, stay low, Sarah whispered, grabbing a kitchen knife from the counter. Max, stay with her. Lily's voice was small. Don't let him get us, Sarah. I won't, Sarah said, her jaw tight. Max's growls grew fiercer, his body tense despite his weakness. A creak outside made Sarah freeze. Max barked, sharp and loud, his hackles up. Sarah's flashlight swept the window, catching a shadow moving fast. He's here, she whispered. Her heart pounding, she dialed Daniels, her voice urgent. He's at the safe house. Hurry. On my way, Daniels said. Hold on, Sarah. Sarah locked the door, her hands shaking. She knelt beside Max, who was trembling but ready to fight. You've got one more in you, don't you? She whispered. Max's tail thumped, his eyes burning. Lily clung to Max, her voice soft. Love you, Max. You're my best friend. Max licked her face, his whine fierce. The cabin was silent, but danger was closing in. Sarah gripped the knife, her heart with Max and Lily. The final clue had led Carver here, but Max's loyalty was stronger. As the night held its breath, Sarah stood ready to protect them. Sarah's grip on the kitchen knife tightened as Max's barks echoed in the safe house. His eyes were locked on the door, his hackles up, ready to fight despite his weakening body. Lily clung to his fur, her face buried against him, her small voice whispering, Don't let him get us, Max. The shadow outside Tom Carver had vanished, but Sarah knew he was close. The bloodstained cloth, Lily's story, and Daniel's photo pointed to him, hunting for her grandma's land. Max's loyalty was their only defense, and Sarah wouldn't let him fight alone. Stay down, Lily, Sarah whispered, her heart pounding. Max, with me. Max limped to her side, his growls fierce. The door rattled, a loud thud shaking the frame. Sarah gasped, clutching the knife. Max barked, his body trembling but ready. Get back. Sarah shouted, her voice shaking. A low laugh came from outside. You can't hide her forever, Carver's voice sneered. That land's mine. Ack! Lily whimpered, and Max's barks grew louder, his teeth bared. Sarah's blood ran cold. Shh! Dialed Daniels, whispering. He's here. Now we're 2 minutes out, Daniel said. Hold him off. Sarah's eyes locked on Max. You ready, boy? She whispered. Max's tail thumped, his eyes burning. The door crashed open. And Carver stepped in, his cap low, a knife glinting in his hand. Max lunged, faster than Sarah thought possible, his teeth sinking into Carver's leg. Carver yelled, swinging the knife. Sarah screamed, Max, no! Max dodged, barking wildly, keeping Carver back. Sarah grabbed Lily, pulling her behind the couch. Stay here, she whispered. Lily nodded, tears streaming. Carver kicked at Max, but Max was relentless, snapping at his arm. Stupid dog. Carver snarled, raising the knife again. Sarah jumped up, swinging the flashlight at Carver's head. It connected with a thud, and he stumbled, cursing. Max seized the moment, tackling him to the floor. The knife skidded across the room. Sarah's heart raced. Good boy, Max. Now, she shouted. Carver thrashed, but Max pinned him, growling fiercely. Headlights flashed outside Daniel's truck. He burst in, gun drawn. Freeze. What? He yelled. Carver stopped struggling, his face twisted in rage. Daniels cuffed him, his voice sharp. Tom Carver, you're done. He glanced at Max, still growling. "Good job, boy." Sarah ran to Max, who collapsed, panting hard. "Max!" she cried, kneeling beside him. His wounds were bleeding again, his eyes heavy. "You did it, boy. You stopped him." Lily crawled out, sobbing. "Max, you're okay, right?" Him, her tears soaking his fur, Max wind licking her face weakly. Sarah's chest ached. "He's hurt bad, Lily," she said, her voice breaking, "but he's a fighter." Daniels called for backup, his radio crackling. "We've got Carver. Send an ambulance for the dog." Sarah stroked Max's head, tears falling. "You saved her again, Max." Max's tail thumped, his eyes on Lily. The cabin was chaos cops rushing in, Carver shouting as they dragged him away. "Dad!" But Sarah's world was Max and Lily, their bond. Stronger than ever, the ambulance lights flashed outside and Sarah lifted Max gently, her heart heavy. "Hold on, boy," she whispered. "We're not losing you." As they carried him out, Lily clung to Sarah's hand, Max's eyes never leaving her. The showdown was over. But Max's fight wasn't done. Sarah held Max's head gently as the ambulance sped through the night, its siren wailing. Lily sat beside her, her small hand gripping Max's paw, tears streaming down her face. Max's breathing was shallow, his wounds bleeding through the bandages after his fight with Carver. The safe house was behind them, Carver in custody, but Sarah's heart was with Max. He'd saved Lily again, but at what cost? His eyes, heavy with pain, stayed locked on Lily, his loyalty unbroken. "You're gonna be okay, Max," Sarah whispered, stroking his fur. "You're a hero." Max winced softly, his tail twitching. Lily's voice trembled. "Please, Max, don't leave me," she said, her tears falling on his coat. Max licked her hand weakly, his eyes soft. The ambulance pulled into a vet clinic, its lights bright in the dark. A vet rushed out, her face kind but urgent. "What happened?" she asked, helping lift Max onto a stretcher. "He fought off an attacker," Sarah said, her voice breaking. "He's hurt bad. Please save him." The vet nodded, her hands gentle on Max. "He's a fighter. We'll do everything we can." She looked at Lily. "You his family?" Lily nodded, sobbing. "He's my best friend." The vet smiled. "Then he's got a reason to fight." They wheeled Max inside, Sarah and Lily following. The clinic smelled of antiseptic, but it felt warmer than the hospital. Sarah held Lily's hand, her heart pounding. "Will he be okay?" Lily whispered, her eyes wide. Sarah squeezed her hand. "He's strong, Lily. He's got you to fight for." They sat in the waiting room. Lily curled against Sarah. A flashback hit Max carrying Lily through the woods, his strength fading but never stopping. Sarah blinked back tears. "He loves you so much," she said. The vet came out, her face tired but hopeful. "He's stable," she said. "Lost a lot of blood, but he's tough. We stitched his wounds, gave him fluids. He's not out of the woods, but he's fighting." Sarah's shoulders sagged with relief. "Can we see him?" she asked. The vet nodded. "He's asking for you well, his eyes are." She led them to a small room where Max lay on a bed, his fur clean, his breathing steadier. Lily ran to him, hugging him gently. "Max, you're okay," she cried. Max's tail thumped, his eyes brightening. He licked Lily's face, his whine, soft but strong. Sarah knelt beside them, tears falling. "You're a miracle, boy," she said. The vet watched, smiling. "This dog's got heart. I've never seen anything like it." Sarah's phone buzzed Daniels. "Carver's talking," he said. "Confessed to attacking Lily for her grandma's land. You and Max stopped him." Sarah's heart swelled. "Max did it all," she said. "He's our hero." Lily looked up, her eyes shining. "Max, you saved me. I love you." Max wind, nuzzling her. The village was already buzzing. Daniels said people calling Max a legend, rallying to help. "Lily," Sarah stroked Max's head, her voice soft. "You changed everything, boy." The clinic was quiet, the night outside calm. Max's strength was returning, his bond with Lily pulling him through. Sarah stayed by their side, her heart full. The miracle wasn't just Max's survival, it was the love that kept him fighting. As dawn broke, Sarah knew they'd won more than a fight. Sarah sat beside Max and Lily in the vet clinic, the morning light filtering through the window. Max's breathing was stronger now, his wounds healing after the vet's care. Lily leaned against him, her hand in his fur, a smile on her face for the first time in days. Tom Carver was behind bars, his confession tying him to the attack on Lily for her grandma's land. Max's bravery had saved her, and the village was buzzing with their story. But Sarah's heart was here, with Max and Lily, their bond alight. After the darkness, "You're looking better, Max," Sarah said, stroking his head. "Ready to go home?" Max's tail thumped, his eyes bright on Lily. Lily giggled softly. "We're gonna be okay, right, Max?" she asked, hugging him. Max licked her cheek, his whine happy. Sarah's chest swelled. She'd called her boss, taking leave to stay with them. The village had rallied, offering food and supplies for Lily and her grandma. But Sarah knew Lily needed Mara's family. "I'm not letting you go, either of you," she whispered. Daniels walked in, his hat in his hands. "How's our hero?" he asked, kneeling beside Max. "He's a miracle," Sarah said, smiling. "Thanks to the vet." Daniels nodded, petting Max. "The village is calling him a legend. They're fixing up Lily's grandma's house, making it safe." Lily looked up, her eyes wide. "Can Max come home with me?" Sarah's heart ached. She glanced at Daniels, then back to Lily. "How about you both come with me?" she said. "My place is big enough. We'll be a family." Lily's face lit up. "Really? Max, we're gonna live with Sarah." Max barked softly, his tail wagging hard. Sarah laughed, tears stinging. "That's a yes, huh, boy?" Daniels grinned. "You're a good one, Sarah. They're lucky to have you." Sarah shook her head. "I'm lucky to have them." "Wait." She looked at Max, his eyes shining. A flashback hit Max and Lily running through a field, free and laughing, the woods behind them. Sarah blinked, her heart full. "You gave us this, Max." She whispered. The vet came in, checking Max's chart. "He's ready to go soon," she said. "Just keep him rested." "You will," Sarah said, her voice firm. "Right, Lily?" Lily nodded, hugging Max. "We'll take care of you, Max. Forever." They left the clinic that afternoon, Max limping but strong, Lily holding his leash. Sarah drove them to her house, a cozy place near the village. The community greeted them, neighbors with blankets, kids drawing pictures of Max. "You're a hero," a boy shouted, tossing Max a treat. Max caught it, his tail wagging. Lily laughed, clapping. Sarah's heart soared. "Look at that, Max," she said. "You're famous." At home, Sarah set up a bed for Lily and a soft mat for Max. Lily curled up beside him, whispering, "We're safe now, Max. Because of you." Max huffed, nuzzling her. Sarah watched, her eyes misty. "We're a family now," she said. "All of us." The village rebuilt, the darkness of Carver's crime fading. Max's story spread, a tale of loyalty and love. As the sun set, Sarah, Lily, and Max sat in the yard, the field stretching wide. Max barked happily, chasing a butterfly, Lily giggling beside him. Sarah smiled, her heart healed. Max had carried them through the dark, and now they were home.